The movie begins by showing a girl walking at night with her pet dog. She is busy talking on her phone when her dog goes into the bushes to poop. After a few moments, the dog's leash suddenly snaps and falls back into her hand. She gets scared, but she slowly moves forward to look for her pet. Suddenly, a coyote appears in front of her. The girl realizes the coyote has already killed her dog. Terrified, she steps backward, but just then a speeding car hits her and drives away. Her arm and leg bones break, and she lies on the ground screaming in pain. Within moments, several coyotes arrive and begin tearing into her body while she is still alive. Scene shifts. A man steps out of a car and enters a house. The homeowner, Scott, had called him to get rid of rats. After some time, Scott's wife Liv and their daughter Chloe return home. Scott and the man sit at the table talking, and then the man leaves. After seeing a storm forecast on TV, Liv goes to Scott and asks him to cut the large tree outside the house before the storm hits. Scott, busy with work, says he will do it soon. Night falls. Chloe is lying in her bed when she hears her dog barking. She gets up and goes downstairs. She sees the dog barking toward the main door. Chloe looks outside through the pet opening in the door and suddenly sees something moving. She gets frightened. Upstairs, Scott and Liv are spending romantic time together when Chloe comes and asks them to come with her. The three go downstairs. Chloe and Liv stay near the door while Scott goes outside to check. As he steps down, he sees a coyote growling and moving toward him. He waves his hand and the lights turn on. The coyote disappears. He returns inside and tells his daughter there was nothing, just a wild coyote. Suddenly, the house lights go out with a heavy noise. Scott goes outside and sees the large tree has fallen onto his car. Liv and Chloe come outside too. Suddenly, lightning strikes a nearby pole, frightening all of them. Scene shifts. The next morning, the city is shown badly damaged by the storm. Trees are fallen and power is out. Scott and Liv are cleaning the area where the tree fell. They find blood and a pet collar with the name Lucy on it. Liv visited Tripp's house, her neighbor, and presented him with the collar. Tripp was momentarily speechless. Meanwhile, Scott is cutting the fallen tree from his car. Their neighbor Tony is standing nearby. After a while, Tony receives a call from his wife and leaves. As Tony walks down the road, suddenly some coyotes begin following him. He tries to scare them away, but one coyote attacks from behind and bites into his leg. Meanwhile, Tripp arrives at Scott's house and asks Liv to help find his cat Lucy, but then he notices something nearby. When he goes closer, he finds only a piece of his cat's body. He sits down and begins crying. Elsewhere, Tony's wife Sheila is shown angry because Tony hasn't returned home. Scott, Liv, and Chloe are in the garage when a coyote walks into their yard. Scott says there's nothing to fear. It is probably scared and separated from its pack. Suddenly the coyote begins growling. Scott tells Chloe to take their dog Charlie inside and slowly steps forward. The coyote attempts to jump into the garage, but Scott quickly shuts the door. Meanwhile, Sheila steps outside to look for her husband and sees Tony's severed hand lying on the road with a coyote standing nearby. Terrified, she runs back inside and locks the door. But a coyote is already inside the house. She grabs a gas spray and a lighter from the kitchen and tries to scare the animal with fire. The coyote keeps moving toward her. She steps backward, collides with a grill, and falls. The spray can drops. The grill flame ignites the gas, and a blast erupts. Sheila catches fire and screams in agony as she burns. Scene shifts. Tripp is at home with a prostitute named Julie, spending romantic time together when coyotes enter the house. As soon as Julie sees one, she runs upstairs into a room and locks the door. As the coyotes approach, Tripp grabs his gun and shoots one of them. He then runs upstairs into the same room. He hands Julie a hunting weapon and takes 2 guns from a drawer, aiming at the door. Suddenly the door opens, and they are shocked. How can coyotes open doors? Julie runs into an adjacent wardrobe room and locks herself inside. Tripp fires multiple shots. Meanwhile, Scott and his family hear gunshots and look toward Tripp's house. At that moment, their dog squeezes through the pet opening in the door and runs outside. Scott goes out to find the dog. He sees Charlie sitting outside and picks him up. Liv comes outside. Suddenly the dog jumps from Scott's arms and runs away. Scott then notices coyotes nearby and quietly tells Liv to go back inside. Liv runs inside. Scott jumps over the fence and enters Tripp's property while chasing Charlie. Following the sounds, he reaches Tripp's room, and what he sees is horrifying. Coyotes have eaten most of Tripp's body. He is still alive and begs Scott for help. Scott is horrified and realizes nothing can be done. Gunshots suddenly come from the wardrobe room. Scott ducks and tells the shooter to stop. Julie stops firing. Scott enters slowly, and Julie tells him coyotes attacked them. Scott tells her they must leave. Julie says she has the car keys. They move downstairs. Scott calls the pest control man for help, but he ignores the call and hangs up. As they reach the door, 3 coyotes suddenly appear behind them. They panic. Julie fires blindly, hitting the coyotes, and they collapse dead. Meanwhile, at Scott's house, Liv and Chloe hear Charlie barking. They quickly open the sliding door, pull Charlie inside, and shut the door. Coyotes gather at the gate outside. Scott and Julie get into the car, but the main gate will not open due to the power outage. Scott rams the gate with the car and breaks through, but the car crashes into a wall. They get out. As Scott steps out, a coyote attacks him. Julie freezes in fear. Suddenly, Liv arrives holding a fire extinguisher and sprays it at the coyote, forcing it to retreat. Back at Tripp's house, a mirror falls and candles ignite a fire, setting the house ablaze. Julie and Liv help Scott inside while Chloe quickly locks the door. Liv treats Scott's wounds while he groans in pain. She then notices flames at Tripp's house through the window and tells Scott it is on fire. Before the fire spreads further, they begin planning to leave. Because there is no electricity, all phones are dead except Julie's. She charged hers in the car. Scott uses her phone to call emergency services and puts the call on hold, telling her not to disconnect. While discussing escape plans, they hear a noise upstairs. Liv realizes she forgot to close an upstairs window. Scott tells everyone to hide. Moments later, a coyote walks down the stairs. Chloe, hiding beneath the staircase, is terrified. The coyote walks toward the table, allowing Chloe to quietly move upstairs. As she reaches the top step, she steps on a talking toy. The sound alerts the coyote, which runs upstairs. Scott shouts for Chloe to run. She escapes and hides. Scott's shout alerts another coyote that enters through the pet opening and approaches him. Liv throws a tablecloth over the animal, and Scott quickly grabs a sharp object and kills it. Then they hear Chloe scream upstairs. They rush up and see a coyote has bitten Chloe's neck. Blood is flowing. Liv rushes to comfort her. Scott faints upon seeing his daughter in that condition. Julie arrives, and Liv tells her to bring first aid from the bathroom. After some time, Scott regains consciousness. He sees Chloe is stable and alive, and he feels immense relief. He apologizes to both of them. Soon after, Scott goes into the garage and begins building a protective cage so they can escape safely from the coyotes. Some time later, the pest control man arrives in his van and steps out. Within seconds, multiple coyotes surround him and attack, killing him brutally. Liv informs Scott about this through the walkie-talkie and urges him to finish quickly. While working in the garage, Scott discovers 2 baby coyotes trapped behind a wall. He realizes they were likely trapped because of the pest control setup. He tells Liv that the coyotes may be attacking because their babies are trapped. After some time, Scott finishes building a strange metal cage. He steps inside it, carrying the baby coyotes, and carefully moves outside. The adult coyotes gather and growl at him. Scott slowly waves his hands and gently releases the babies to them. He backs away slowly. The coyotes take their young and leave. Scott informs Liv and Chloe that the coyotes have gone. They all step outside the house. Liv and Scott share an emotional kiss, but suddenly, a coyote attacks Julie. Scott quickly uses an electric baton to shock the animal, forcing it to run away. Without wasting time, the group rushes into the van and drives away from the area. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel StoryCrax for more amazing movie explains like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments.